On October 2nd, Venezuela announced that its radar systems had detected 5 American F-35 fighter jets operating close to its coastline. Authorities in Caracas immediately labeled this as a provocation, an intentional show of power by Washington, and warned that they were ready to respond. This sighting did not happen in isolation. For weeks, the United States has been increasing its military presence in the Caribbean, not only with warships and Marines, but also by reactivating an old base in Puerto Rico that had been closed for 2 decades, Roosevelt Roads. The key question is, what is the United States really preparing for? Is this only about maritime security, or is there a much larger geopolitical objective behind this buildup? Let's walk through what is happening, why it matters, and how this Caribbean flashpoint could change the balance of power in the Americas. According to Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez, the aircraft detected were F-35 stealth jets, described as attack planes of the imperialist power. The announcement came with an accusation that Washington is escalating tensions, flying combat aircraft dangerously close to Venezuelan airspace. Caracas framed the situation as a direct violation of sovereignty, urging its armed forces to remain on alert. The detection of jets has to be seen in the context of a much larger American military presence in the region. Since August, the U.S. Navy has deployed a powerful amphibious readiness group to the southern Caribbean. This force is centered on the amphibious assault ship Iwo Jima, accompanied by amphibious transport docks San Antonio and Fort Lauderdale, all carrying thousands of Marines from the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit. Alongside them sail several destroyers, Gravely, Jason Dunham, and Sampson, plus the cruiser Lake Erie, the littoral combat ship Minneapolis-St. Paul, and even the nuclear-powered submarine Newport News. The task force also operates advanced aircraft such as MV-22 Ospreys, CH-53 heavy-lift helicopters, and now stealth F-35s, which can fly both from ships and from bases on land. This is not a symbolic deployment. It is a layered combat force capable of launching amphibious landings, controlling sea lanes, and striking targets on land with precision. The tension is clear. Just recently, Venezuelan F-16s flew close to the Jason Dunham in international waters, an action that Washington described as highly provocative. One of the most striking developments is the sudden reactivation of Roosevelt Roads, a naval base on the eastern coast of Puerto Rico. Built during World War II and expanded during the Cold War, it was once one of the largest U.S. naval facilities in the world. It had a deep water port, a massive 11,000-foot runway, and the ability to support fleet operations across the Atlantic and Caribbean. But after 2004, the base was closed and gradually abandoned. That is no longer the case. Over the past few weeks, giant C-5 Galaxy and C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft have landed there, bringing in equipment and supplies. Marine aviation units have begun using the facilities, and in September, the base hosted U.S. Marine F-35Bs for the first time. The revival of Roosevelt Roads means the United States once again has a major forward operating hub in the Caribbean, only a short flight away from Venezuela. Officials insist this reactivation is temporary, tied to current missions. But once infrastructure is repaired, command centers are reinstalled, and fighter jets are seen on the runway, the possibility of making Roosevelt Roads permanent once again becomes very real. The buildup is not just about parking ships and planes. U.S. forces have been actively training across the region. Off Puerto Rico, Marines have practiced beach landings, helicopter assaults, and rapid movements from ship to shore. These exercises look very similar to the opening phases of real operations, the kind designed to seize key positions quickly and hold them. The amphibious assault ship that leads the group acts like a small aircraft carrier, launching helicopters, tilt-rotor planes, and even stealth jets. Around it sail powerful escorts, there to protect the group and extend its reach. And somewhere underwater, a submarine adds an invisible layer of pressure. Put simply, the United States has created a flexible strike force. It can patrol, it can land troops, and it can project air power. Each maneuver sends a signal not only to Venezuela, but to every country in the region watching closely. The arrival of F-35 stealth fighters in Puerto Rico is a decisive factor. 10 of these jets, assigned to Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 225, have been deployed to the island. They have already been photographed on the runway at Roosevelt Roads. Unlike older aircraft, the F-35 is not just a fighter. It is a flying command center that can connect ships, drones, and ground forces into one digital network. With its stealth technology, the jet can approach Venezuelan radar without being easily detected, gather intelligence, and, if needed, deliver precision strikes. More importantly, the presence of F-35s changes the psychological balance. For Venezuela, knowing that stealth fighters are stationed only a short distance away creates a constant sense of vulnerability. For Washington, it provides a tool of deterrence and rapid escalation. Caracas has reacted sharply. Its armed forces are mobilized, large-scale exercises have been announced, and officials have warned of illegal incursions by the U.S. military. The flyover of Venezuelan jets near a U.S. destroyer shows how quickly incidents can spiral. Venezuela also claimed that an American vessel detained a Venezuelan fishing boat for several hours, which the government described as harassment. Legally, the United States justifies its presence by pointing to international waters and to security operations against non-state actors. However, deploying stealth fighters, amphibious landings, and warships loaded with advanced missiles goes far beyond traditional patrols. Critics argue this is less about policing the seas and more about keeping Maduro's government under constant pressure. The risks are high. A miscalculation, whether a radar lock, a near collision, or an intercepted vessel, could escalate into open confrontation. What began with Venezuela spotting 5 American F-35s has now revealed itself as part of a much bigger story. The United States has returned to the Caribbean with full naval and air power, has reawakened the Roosevelt Roads base in Puerto Rico, and is rehearsing amphibious operations with Marines on standby. Venezuela, in turn, is challenging U.S. warships and preparing for defense. The next weeks will be critical. Will more American ships arrive? Will Roosevelt Roads become a permanent hub once again? And most importantly, will Washington limit itself to security patrols? Or could this develop into direct pressure on the Venezuelan government? The situation is fluid, and the stakes are high. What do you think? Is this buildup mainly about regional security? Or is it a cover for broader geopolitical pressure? Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time.